da Conferência Internacional sobre a região dos Grandes Lagos. Presentes todos nós para testemunharmos esse magno evento e assim tirarmos todo proveito de tudo o que aqui será dito pelas presenças marcantes, pelos representantes, pelos ministros, pelos delegados. Mais uma vez, agradecemos a presença de todos. E para a abertura desse evento, convido para a intervenção o Sr. Secretário Executivo do Comitê da Conferência Inter-Ministerial da região dos Grandes Lagos, o embaixador João Carrolo.
Sua Excelência, Embaixador Tete António, Ministro das Relações Exteriores da República de Angola e Presidente do Comitê Inter-Ministerial da CERGL. Sua Excelência, Senhora Mudavadi, Presidente da Primatura e Secretário das Relações Exteriores e Assuntos da Diáspora da República do Quênia, Suas Excelências, Senhores Ministros das Relações Exteriores, Ministro da Integração Regional da República do Congo e de todos os representantes de ministros, membros do Comitê Inter-Ministerial da CERGL, Excelentíssimo Senhor Enviado Especial do Secretário-Geral das Nações Unidas, Embaixador Wang Xia, Excelentíssimo Senhor Representante do Presidente da Comissão da União Africana, distintos membros das delegações dos países da CERGL, distintos coordenadores nacionais, participantes, delegados, minhas senhoras e meus senhores. É uma honra que me dirijo pela primeira vez em pessoa, enquanto secretário executivo da CERGL, ao Comitê Interministerial da região da CERGL e saúdo-vos calorosamente por terem acedido o nosso convite para participar nessa reunião na bela cidade capital da República de Angola, meu país. Entre março de 2022, a data atual, houve ocorrências significativas. Quero, em primeiro lugar, saudar Sua Excelência João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço, Presidente da República de Angola, Presidente em exercício da CERGL, campeão da paz e reconciliação da União Africana, pela distinta honra e atenção que tem prestado às questões da estabilidade e paz na região dos Grandes Lagos. Quero felicitar Sua Excelência o Presidente Félix Antoine Tshisekedi Tshilombo, chefe de Estado e Presidente da República Democrática do Congo, e Sua Excelência Paul Kagame, Presidente da República do Ruanda, pelo esforço constante que têm dedicado à procura de convívio, de paz entre os dois Estados, e pensamos nós que pode ser que pela primeira vez na nossa vida a República Democrática do Congo e o Ruanda encontrarão soluções de convívio em paz como países vizinhos. Durante este período também tenho a notar progressos significativos num processo da democracia eleitoral. Realizou-se eleições na República de Angola, na República Democrática do Congo, no Ruanda, e tudo isso marca uma etapa significativa da nossa região. Esperemos continuar a observar o que está a acontecer. No plano econômico, temos tido grandes progressos na região dos Grandes Lagos. Estamos a implementar um programa significativo na questão da exploração de recursos minerais na nossa região. Assinamos um acordo de parceria com a Comunidade Econômica dos Estados da África Central. Estamos a trabalhar neste sentido. Nas questões de refugiados, assistência humanitária, nós, devo dizer também, que estamos a realizar significativos progressos. Lançamos o programa da mulher no processo de paz e estabilidade, na implementação da Resolução 1325 das Nações Unidas. Nós temos, no entanto, processos que chamam a atenção dos Estados-membros, nomeadamente a pacificação da República Centro-Africana, a questão de mercenários que têm livre trânsito na nossa região e que estão a participar na guerra do Sudão, e o contínuo processo de mediação no leste da República do Congo e o Ruanda. Para esta sessão, gostaria também de chamar a vossa atenção para as questões significativas que serão da vossa agenda. Por último, quero agradecer o apoio cessante dos nossos parceiros estratégicos, nomeadamente a República Federativa da Alemanha, a União Europeia, os Países Baixos e o enviado especial das Nações Unidas e todos aqueles que têm apoiado os programas da CERGEL. A mim me agrada vê-los aqui na nossa cidade capital e espero que teremos uma reunião à altura de podermos passar em revista as questões estratégicas da nossa instituição na procura da implementação do Pacto sobre Estabilidade, Segurança e Desenvolvimento na região dos Grandes Lagos. Muito obrigado pela vossa atenção.
Muito obrigado, Sr. Embaixador. Do encontro de hoje, e de seguida convido também para As palavras o senhor representante especial do presidente da Comissão da União Africana para a região dos Grandes Lagos, Seguir Said. A nossa atenção.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على النبي الكريم. Excellence, Monsieur l'ambassadeur Antonio Tete, ministre des Affaires étrangères de la République de l'Angola et président
and chair of the REMEC, Excellency, ministers and heads of delegations and member states of ICGLR, Excellency Mr. Wangsha, Special Envoy of the UN Secretary to the Great Lakes region, Excellency Mr. Ambassador João Kaholo, Executive Secretary of the ICGLR, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. On the start, I would like to thank the government and people of Angola for the warm hospitality accorded to my delegation and myself since our arrival at this beautiful city of Luanda. I would like to join my voice and seizing the occasion given to me to attend for the first time this kind of meeting in order to strengthen relations between the African Union and the International Conference on the Great Lakes region, ICGLR, and work so that together we can help this region to develop economically due to the conflict that strikes this region, which is rich in terms of abundant resources. This serves as a means of renewal of leadership within the ICGLR, and this comes in the framework of the recurrence of political issues that involve security and humanitarian crisis in Eastern DRC. That this political dynamic and the humanitarian and security dynamics of the Great Lakes agency for the effective implementation of programs ICGLR Pact on Security, Stability and Development in the Great Lakes region. We are still concerned about the situation happening with serious violation of human rights, of massive displacement of civilian population due to war, and on security, stability and development in the Great Lakes region, as well as provide an opportunity to our member states to assess deeply our regional and our development. We are satisfied with the ongoing reconciliation process, namely the Luanda process, to establish the trust between DRC and Rwanda under the mediation of His Excellency João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço, President of the Republic of Angola and African Union Champion for Peace and Reconciliation, as well as the Nairobi process that aims at engaging dynamics in the deep root causes under the mediation of His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president of Kenya. We commend of these processes that are parts that include the regional women forum that took place here in Luanda on 18th, 19th October 2024 under the leadership of His Excellency João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço, President of the Republic of Angola and mediator of Luanda process in collaboration with Mrs. Aminata Diop, African Union envoy on issues of gender and security, as well as this high-level forum gathered continent women, amongst them former heads of state and civil society representatives, in order to mobilize continued support following the mediation under the framework of Luanda process that could be strengthened and with the solidarity of women fighting against war in the Great Lake region. To these two processes, we add the negotiation of crisis in the peace process. This recurring crisis compel us to rethink the African Union future in order to face this. What kind of mediation strategy we should adopt for an African Union preventive diplomacy, mainly when we look to the shape of the conflicts in Africa, given the young population. The African Union is persuaded to look at the role of youth and women in consolidation of peace in the coming generations. It is important in order to face the emerging threats and the future of the continent that should consider the African youth in the framework of the 2063 agenda. For such, efforts must be made in order to promote diplomacy, in order to prevent the impact and the involvement of conflict on the continent. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call your attention about two conflicts with tragic humanitarian consequences that deserve special attention without forgetting other conflicts in the region. This is the crisis about Sudan that is almost becoming the most dangerous theater, with more than 20 million people displaced who are in a dire situation of food insecurity due to the fights between the Sudanese armed forces and the RS rebel groups. And also, we have to look at the situation prevailing in the eastern DRC, where about 10 million people were killed and 6 million displaced in South Kivu and Ituri, where about 8 million children are in need of humanitarian aid. Given this situation, the chairperson of the African Union Commission, His Excellency Moussa Faki Mohammed has appointed Mr. Madieng as the African Union envoy in order to prevent crimes of massive genocide and killings. And he's working with Great Lakes region countries, and his mission combines with the Article 8 of ICGL Pact, prevention of war crimes and genocide and crimes against humanity and all kinds of discrimination. Therefore, it is important that ICGLR uses its expertise in order to strengthen the collaboration to prevent violations in the Sudan, because it's better to prevent rather than to cure. Apart from these of the pact, to the request of technical assistance from the African Union, and in this framework, our office will be supported. We will support the new leadership of the Secretariat in order to promote competent structures, mainly the Department of Peace, Security, in order to expedite this approach while we're waiting for the decision that will be made at the next ICGLR summit. Out of this realm, there are other opportunities that the African Continental Free Trade Zone presents, namely through its protocol, competitiveness, trade and services, e-commerce, investment, including intellectual property. That common market within the framework of the African Continental Free Trade Zone will allow Africa to become a lung of development within Africa. For such, we need to put an end to war, priority to the transformation of shared resource, sustainable development. I am happy for the fact that all ICGL member states ratified the Free Trade Area Agreement. They are promoting collective interest in order to turn to aspiration of the Great Lakes region people who have historical bonds. The region has also another framework agreement for cooperation in peace and security for DRC and region in its monitoring mechanism presided by the Republic of Burundi with the support of other institutions, namely the UN, the African Union, and ECAS. All these cooperation setups at regional and continental level would allow us to improve the living standards of our population, such as defined by the African Union 2063 agenda, whose goals are integral part of the national development plans of our respective countries. Before you conclude, I would like to seize this opportunity to congratulate the outgoing Executive Secretary and wishing that his successor may work in order to be to the extent of the challenges of ICGLR and make our region to become in lung of development in Africa, so that we can also achieve, in order for this goal, we must put an end to the war by promoting initiatives that curb all kind of clashes that can provoke conflict. Thank you very much. With these words, we thank you and also for the concern shown in terms of conflict management within the region and the search for peace, which indeed is one of the main topics of these meetings and one of the issues to be discussed within the region amongst all citizens, as you've mentioned by the special envoy of the African Union Commission chairperson. Now I'd like to invite to make his remarks of UN Secretary General for the Great Lakes region, Mr. Wang Xie. Please, the floor is yours. Excellency Minister Tete Antonio, the current chair of the Inter-Ministerial Regional Committee of the International Conference on the Great Lakes region, see Mr. The first Secretary of Cabinet of the Republic of Kenya, Excellencies, Minister, Excellencies, I thank you lively for the invitation that was kindly addressed to me to attend the meeting of ICGLR and the opportunity granted to me to speak before you at this juncture. I'd like to salute the constant engagement of the Regional Inter-Ministerial Committee and the different bodies of the International Conference on the Great Lakes region in order to progress the implementation of the Pact on Security, Stability and Development Great Lakes region. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, development cannot be achieved without one or another. The solution is on the basis of resolution, of long-lasting resolution as the engine of regional integration. Adherence to these principles is indispensable in order to provide solutions that are mutually beneficial. It's also worth mentioning the indelible chair of the community, as well as the facilitation by the former president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, the Great Lakes region. regional efforts seem to be threatened by the recent violation of ceasefire signed on 30th of July 2024 by the warring party, which entered into force on 4th August this year. I'm still concerned about the recurrence of clashes between armed groups, as well by the territorial expansion of M23 that continue to worsen the security and humanitarian situation that is already extremely precarious. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, today than ever we should stand firm in our collective stand in order to reduce the tensions in the countries of region, in order to reestablish trust with engagement that would allow the concerned parties to prevail peace and put an end to the conflict through implementation of a serious engagement that are provided in the Addis Ababa Framework Agreement, engagement that binds on all parties. It is within this spirit that we might be able to support the regional cooperation initiatives in terms of security as a catalyst for restoring mutual trust. As an example, I could mention our support to non-military approach that are aimed to disarmament and repatriation of foreign groups that operating in DRC through the Contact and Coordination Group, which was recently reinforced by the regional working subgroup. On the other hand, my office continues to cooperate with ICGL in order to strengthen the transparency and traceability of blood diamonds. So that's why we conducted a joint mission with ICGL executive in order to approach the destination and transition countries to support our efforts in the fight exploitation of mineral resources. We intend to organize a strategic activity in order to look at ways of embracing Kimberley process, the illicit exploitation and trade in mineral resources, and this is which is still a source of armed groups as provided by the Pact on Security and Development in the Great Lakes region and the Framework Agreement for Peace, Security and Cooperation on the Democratic Republic of Congo and the region. The issues of justice and judicial cooperation amongst the countries of the region is also essential. In this regard, the cooperation network plays a great role in fighting cross-border crime. The next meeting of the Judicial Cooperation Network that will be organized in Nairobi under the coordination of my office solution and ensuring the full participation of women and young in regional peace-building processes. So the conference on peace and security organized in Bujumbura on 23rd August under the leadership of President Ndayishimiye Burundi in his capacity as the chair of the regional follow-up mechanism of Addis Ababa Framework Agreement, as well as a high-level regional forum of women, which was held on 19th October under the leadership of President Jean Lawrence, is an important step towards that direction. These two forums have provided clear recommendations for the strengthening of the regional mechanism led by women so that they can bring a substantial support to the mediation effort, to the ongoing mediation efforts. We can also support and inclusion in transparent management of mineral resources, focusing on the reposition of women in terms of essential minerals that energy transition. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, I would like to assure you the continuous engagement of the United Nations the principles inscribed in the ICGL Pact, as well as the engagements taken within the framework of the Addis Ababa Framework Agreement. I would like to thank you for your kind attention and wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you very much.
Gratidão nossa também.
Made for the leadership of African continent, and so that we can achieve in making reference of the head of state of the Republic of Angola, as well as Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Angola, whom I invite to deliver the opening speech. Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Thank you. Unfortunately, my name is too short, and you to the podium. Excellencies, members of the High Table, that is His Excellency Wang Sha, Special Envoy, UN Secretary General for the Great Lakes region. I also include Sigid Said, African Union High Representative for the Great Lakes region, and equally to our dear Jean-Samuel Kaolo, the Executive Secretary of the International Conference on the Great Lakes region. Excellencies, Ministers of GLR member states and their representatives. Excellency João Ernesto dos Santos, Chairperson of the Committee of Minister of Defense of ICGLR, Excellency Diamond Azevedo, Chair of the ICG.
Ana
Paula Silva, Sacramento Neto, Chairperson of the Committee of Ministers of Gender. Excellency Rui, Chairperson of Committee of Youth, responsible for youth. Ambassador Jorge Cardoso, Chairperson of Committee of National Coordinators of ICGLR, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. On behalf of the Government of the Republic of Angola, led by His Excellency João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço, President of the Republic, allow me to welcome you to the city of Luanda, wishing that your stay is effectively pleasant. After the holding of the last meeting, Inter-Ministerial Committee on the 24th, it is with viewed warmly Samuel Kaholo towards a stable ICGL and with sustainable level development, economic development and regional integration much deepened. The Republic of Angola has been following with great concern the serious financial crisis that the ICGL Secretariat is going through, which endangers its sustainability and existence. In this regard, we call on the engagement of member states in complying with their financial contributions by settling their debts as soon as possible towards our organization in order to overcome the serious financial crisis that it is emerged within, that would allow the Secretariat to undertake its mandate and therefore responding to its obligations and consequently provide efficient services to the member states and implement the policies and programs of our organization. Thus, for ICGLR to better respond to the expectations of the member states as well as to the current and future challenges of our organization, the review of the pact is an urgent need for the materialization of the goals that have to do with security, stability, and development of our region, thereby supplying to the need of equipping the organization with policies, systems, and procedures that will ensure its smooth running. Text, with a view to capitalizing the important role of ICGL in managing in line with the African Union partnership, mainly with the African Union prevailing in our region, particularly in Eastern DRC and the conflict in Sudan. With regard to the conflict in Eastern DRC, His Excellency João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço, the President of the Republic of Angola, has been conducting a number of initiatives stemming from the mandate conferred on him on the 26th Extraordinary Summit of the African Union held in May 2022 in Malabo in order to facilitate the dialogue and the normalization of political and security relations between DRC and Rwanda. And it is in this capacity that various mini summits were held in 2022, amongst others, which culminated with the adoption of the ICGLR roadmap on the security situation in Eastern DRC and the joint plan for resolution of the security crisis in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo and the normalization of political, economic, and political relations between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the sister Republic of Rwanda. And it is worth also to highlight and mention the excellent coordination existing between ICGLR and the Eastern African Community, as well as with the Central African Economic Community in this effort of peace building that has allowed in 2023 the holding of ceasefire that prevailed for 9 months, and it is within this context, under the auspices of the African Union, the Republic of Angola hosted the holding of the quadripartite summit between the Eastern African Community, the Economic Community of Central African States, the International Conference of the Great Lakes Region, and the Southern African Development Community, SADC, in June 2023, whose goal was to harmonize and strengthen coordination and synergies of the peace initiative in Eastern DRC. Excellencies, given the reemergence of the activities perpetrated by M23 group, His Excellency João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço, President of the Republic of Angola, relaunched the basis for dialogue between DRC and Rwanda as from March 2024 to date. We have held 5 ministerial meetings that have allowed to decree a ceasefire that is still in force as from 4th August 2024, as well as the development of the harmonized plan of neutralization of FDLR and the plan of the withdrawal of Rwandan troops within the framework of a concrete proposal of a draft peace agreement. On the other side, recently, the intelligence officials from DRC and Rwanda, under the facilitation of Angola, have developed a document that is a key master plan for the peace-building activities that will be considered at ministerial meeting that will take place tomorrow here in Luanda city. Lastly, I would like also to mention the ad hoc verification mechanism with inclusion of 3 liaison officers from DRC and Rwanda that joined the 18 officers from the Republic of Angola, whose launching ceremony of their operation happened on 5th November 2024 in Goma, DRC, and this mechanism is crucial for the monitoring of the implementation of ceasefire and other related activities to the Luanda process. And it is within this spirit that the Republic of Angola has signed yesterday, 23rd November 2024, a memorandum of understanding with the United Nations organization through the UN Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, MONUSCO, that is aimed at supporting the activities of mechanism in areas such as mobility, protection and safety, information sharing, as well as medical evacuation. Excellencies, with regard to the conflict in Sudan that emerged in April 2023, we are still experiencing a situation of big intensity with a serious impact on our region, considering the more than 7 million refugees and displaced people requiring humanitarian assistance, and therefore we are concerned with such a situation. Therefore we held the 70th Ordinary Summit of ICGL that welcomed the efforts of the African Union, IGAD, and other sub-regional organizations in Africa, and has underscored the need of African leadership and coordination of efforts. And it is within this context that His Excellency João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço, President of the Republic of Angola, is part of the Presidential Ad hoc Committee of the African Union for the Sudan, representing the Southern African region. This committee is headed by His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda. We seize the occasion to reiterate the fact that crisis in Sudan doesn't have military solution, and our organization should continue seized with a view to finding a negotiated and peaceful solution to that conflict. With regard to the Central African Republic, we noted with satisfaction the efforts for political stability and security with the continuous implementation of the political agreement for peace and reconciliation in that country, as well as the national ownership of the Luanda roadmap. We therefore urge the government and all political stakeholders to contribute towards maintaining peace and reconciliation in that country. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, I would like to highlight the fact that the Republic of Angola has been crafting policies aimed at and integrated development of our region through the operationalization of Lubero Corridor, which is an important that interconnects the Republic of Angola to Zambia and DRC, whose benefits expand beyond the Great Lakes region. In December, in Benguela province, a summit will be held dedicated to this matter. We therefore think that the agenda of our organization should contemplate more cooperation for economic and social development of our region, to the detriment of an agenda that is essentially aimed at discussing conflicts. In this mammoth work, both of search for peace and development, we would like to underscore the special role of women, including in the search for peace in our region, and the need for the implementation of conclusions of Bujumbura and Luanda Fora. I conclude, therefore, wishing that our meeting should produce constructive deliberation that will be submitted to the summit of our heads of state and government. And with these few words, I declare open the proceedings of the 18th ordinary meeting CGLR Regional Inter-Ministerial Committee. Thank you very much.
Muito obrigado.
Thank you for the open speech made by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Angola. He is also the chair of the Inter-Ministerial Regional Committee of the ICGLR, Ambassador Tete Antonio, that provide more information about the efforts that's being made for the stability of the region, and he also spoke about conquest of peace, and also made a reference about the policies made in order for the countries to achieve stability. In the specific case of Angola, the Lobito corridor that attracts all the attention, and we're surely anxious for the meeting that will happen in December, and we're sure that's going to be an important event that we make sure that all the countries involved in Lobito corridor, and also we will unite more. Today we're in a meeting where the main motto is peace, security and development in the Great Lakes region. So truly we are really thrilled with what's happening and the results that will come from the meeting. Reason why,
Pela parte da manhã, agora vai acontecer.
For the morning session, now we are going for a family photo that's going to be made, and after we're going for a coffee break. After that, we're going to have the meeting under closed door. So all the members will come forward to take the family photo. Thank you very much for your attention.